Before we begin, if you think you've heard every dark story out there, think again. Subscribe, like, and comment your thoughts at the end, because this case will leave you questioning what really goes on behind closed doors. The emergency room at Norfolk General Hospital was quiet that night until the doors burst open. A young couple stumbled in, pale, frantic, and clutching a small pink blanket. Inside, it was a newborn baby, completely still. "She fell from her stroller," the father gasped. "It was an accident." Nurses rushed forward, but the moment they touched the child, the temperature of the room seemed to drop. Her skin was cold, too cold. No pulse, no breath. The monitor screamed, then fell silent. Dr. Elaine Porter, head of pediatrics, took one look at the injuries and felt something twist deep in her gut. The baby, later identified as 9-day-old Iijayah Johnson, had deep bruising around her torso, faint burns on her tiny feet, and a laceration above her left eye. None of it matched a stroller fall. "What did you say happened?" Dr. Porter asked. The father, Iijayah Johnson, 24, avoided her eyes. His girlfriend, Iijayah Parker, stared blankly at the floor, mumbling, "She just slipped out. It wasn't our fault." But as detectives from Norfolk police arrived, the story began to unravel almost immediately. The fall supposedly happened 2 days earlier, yet the parents hadn't called for help until now. When officers pressed for details, the park, the stroller brand, the time of day, both gave different answers. Then came the strangest part. They couldn't remember their baby's exact date of birth. Detective Morales, a veteran in child crimes, watched them closely from across the interrogation room. 2 stories, both rehearsed, but not rehearsed enough. As forensic techs combed through the couple's apartment, the picture darkened. The baby's bassinet was stained, the sheets unwashed. A pot of half-eaten ramen sat on the stove, long spoiled. In the corner, an old stroller, rusted wheels, a loose handle. No visible damage that could cause fatal injuries. Morales picked up the stroller, turned it over, and found something chilling. A smear of dried blood beneath the seat. "This isn't from a fall," she muttered. "This is from impact." Back at the hospital, Dr. Porter delivered her conclusion to detectives. This child didn't die from an accident. She died from blunt force trauma, multiple strikes, possibly days before they brought her in. When the news hit the precinct, the silence was heavy. A 9-day-old, barely born, already gone. And her parents' only explanation was a stroller fall that never happened. Detective Morales looked over the file, feeling the weight of every photograph, every unanswered question. "If they're lying about this," she said, "what else are they hiding?" Hours later, a crime scene technician reviewing the apartment photos called Morales back to a desk. "Detective, you need to see this." He zoomed in on a single image, a close-up of the kitchen counter. Amid scattered baby bottles and cigarette butts was a small, half-melted object, a plastic baby bottle nipple, burned at the edges. Morales froze. "That's not heat from a kitchen stove," she said quietly. "That's direct fire." She turned toward the interrogation rooms, where Iijayah and Iijayah sat behind mirrored glass, calm now, whispering to each other like nothing had happened. For the first time that night, Morales realized this wasn't just about a lie. This was about something much darker, something that no one in that hospital or that city was prepared to see. Because what happened to baby Iijayah wasn't just neglect, it was deliberate. And the truth, buried under days of deception, was about to tear everything apart. The Norfolk police weren't dealing with a simple accident anymore. From the moment the coroner confirmed blunt force trauma as the cause of death, every piece of the Johnson-Parker household became a potential crime scene. Detectives Morales and her partner, Detective Sean Riley, began a meticulous sweep. Every corner, every drawer, every trace of human presence under the microscope. In the living room, the baby's crib sat in shadows, untouched, yet ominous. Morales noted the patterns of bruising on the infant's tiny body, marks consistent with repeated strikes, some fresh, others partially healed. "Someone handled this child violently, more than once," she said. Riley nodded grimly, his jaw tight. "And they tried to cover it up with that stroller story." Neighbors were interviewed next. One elderly woman, Mrs. Jennings, recalled seeing Hillary jogging with the baby stroller days before the child's death. But she never cried. "And sometimes, I thought I saw bruises on the baby's arms." Her words hung in the air like smoke. Morales scribbled notes. Someone saw it. Someone suspected. The detectives dug deeper into the couple's past. Hillary had a record of minor offenses, traffic violations, a misdemeanor for assault in his teenage years. Parker, only 22, had no criminal record, but her social media presence painted an unsettling picture. Posts about being overwhelmed by parenting, cryptic messages about things getting out of hand, and regrets that can't be undone. Then came the medical records. The newborn had prior injuries, overlooked or misattributed to common newborn scrapes. Foot burns, minor bruises on the head. The signs have been accumulating since birth. Morales felt a knot tighten in her stomach. This isn't just one moment of violence. It's a pattern, and it's been escalating. At the station, the parents sat separately for interrogation. Hillary's demeanor was unnervingly calm. "I didn't hurt her. She fell. That's all." But Parker's answers were fragmented, almost rehearsed. I don't remember everything. It just happened so fast. I didn't mean..." She stopped herself, tears threatening, but never coming. Evidence technicians brought back a shocking discovery from the apartment, a hidden closet in the bedroom, carefully concealed behind a sliding panel. Inside were baby clothes, some lightly singed, bottles filled with murky liquid, and an old tattered journal. The pages were full of cryptic entries, dates marked with strange symbols, references to punishments, and phrases like, "She doesn't listen, she needs to learn." Morales and Riley exchanged a look. This wasn't accidental neglect. It wasn't a momentary lapse of judgment. It was intentional. Then came the most disturbing piece: surveillance footage from a nearby convenience store. Hillary and Parker had been recorded on the day of the alleged stroller fall, walking casually with the baby. But the stroller was empty. The baby's tiny frame wasn't visible anywhere. "That's impossible," Riley whispered. "Unless they never meant for anyone to see her alive." For Morales, the room spun with realization. They were looking at a couple who had constructed a lie so elaborate, so cold, that it nearly fooled everyone. The story of the stroller accident wasn't just false. It was a deliberate smokescreen, hiding days of abuse and cruelty. As the day ended, the detectives reviewed their growing pile of evidence. Each photo, each testimony, each page of that journal added layers of horror. But nothing prepared them for the final blow. A forensic report that revealed the exact timing of injuries matched a moment when both parents were home alone with the newborn. In that instant, the true scope of betrayal became clear. The people who were supposed to protect Iijayah had been the ones inflicting pain. And the question that now haunted Morales more than any other: how far would they go to hide the truth? And was there more to come?
The courtroom was tense, every seat filled, every eye fixed on the two young parents who had once held a tiny life in their hands. Iijayah Johnson, 24, sat with his head down, arms crossed, appearing detached. Iijayah Parker, 22, sat beside him, fingers intertwined, her gaze flicking nervously between the judge, the jury, and the rows of onlookers. Outside, the public had gathered, murmurs spreading like wildfire. No one could understand how anyone could harm a newborn baby. Inside, the prosecutor began recounting the harrowing details: the bruises, the burns, the lacerations. Every photo, every medical report, every surveillance clip of the couple lying about the stroller accident was presented to the court. There was no victim more vulnerable than a newborn baby. Iijayah came into the world needing love, care, and protection. What she got instead was suffering and death. Hillary's plea came first. He confessed to the killing, admitting to the acts of violence that had caused Iijayah's death. His words were calm, almost rehearsed. "I did it," he said, voice low. "It was wrong. I can't take it back." The court listened in stunned silence as he described moments of anger, frustration, and negligence that escalated into fatal violence. Despite the horror, he had chosen to plead guilty to second-degree murder, a choice that would carry a heavy penalty. Parker's case was more complex. Evidence showed she had been complicit, present during the abuse, sometimes enabling it, but forensic timelines and witness statements could not definitively prove she inflicted the fatal injuries. Her attorneys argued that while she had failed to protect her child, she had not delivered the fatal blows. After negotiations, she pleaded guilty to felony child abuse, acknowledging her role but avoiding a murder conviction. Sentencing day was a quiet storm of anticipation. Families of the victim, social workers, and child advocates packed the courtroom, their faces etched with grief. The judge's gavel echoed like a heartbeat as the sentences were handed down. Iijayah Johnson received 19 years in prison, the maximum for second-degree murder under Virginia law. Parker received 10 years, the maximum for felony child abuse. As the sentences were read, neither parent reacted outwardly, but those in the courtroom could feel the weight of justice settling over the room, heavy and cold. Yet even as the gavel fell, a shadow of unease lingered. Investigators had discovered a hidden journal, the burned nipple, and the cryptic entries, signs that the cruelty had been methodical. The question that haunted Morales and Riley wasn't if these parents were capable of more, it was what else had gone unnoticed, and how many infants had ever faced the same danger in silence. Outside the courthouse, the wind carried whispers of outrage. The public had witnessed the terrifying consequences of betrayal by those entrusted with care. They thought the Stroller story would cover everything, Morales said quietly to Riley, but nothing stays hidden forever. And for those who followed the case, the lesson was bitter and undeniable. Innocence can be stolen in the blink of an eye, and sometimes the people you trust the most are capable of unimaginable darkness. As the doors closed on the trial, one chilling thought remained in the minds of everyone who had watched the story unfold. Iijayah's life was brief, but the truth about her death will echo far longer, a stark reminder that evil often hides behind the most ordinary of facades. If this story shook you, the world of real crime holds even darker secrets. Stay alert, stay aware, and always remember that sometimes the greatest monsters wear the face of family.